I'm holding two bags up here. As you can see, they appear to be the Longchamp Le Pliage Club. However, do you notice the difference between them? From the outset and at a glance, people will not be able to tell the difference. However, one of these is authentic and the other is a replica. I've been authenticating Louis Vuitton bags for over 10 years, and this has blown me away today because I'm starting to think, you know, these replicators are getting very good, almost too good, and I'm making this video for you guys to inform you all on how to spot the differences, and so you guys are more informed when you do make that purchase, because unfortunately many sellers are still very deceptive and they won't tell you the truth, and they'll still just try and sell you a fake bag under the disguise of a real bag. So if you're interested, keep watching. Bienvenue sur ma chaîne. Welcome to my channel. So how did this happen? I didn't go out and deliberately buy a replica. I would never do that. I would never waste my money. But this is actually a recent eBay transaction. I also purchased this from eBay, but I did meet up with a seller in Vegas, so it enabled me to inspect the bag and look at it. This one, I blindly bought it, but I got it for such a good price. I think I won it for like $46. It was like on bid, and I paid like 50 something for it total, including the delivery, so it was quite, actually it was like 60 delivery. But how shall we say this? I'm actually in contact right now with the seller who's refusing to take responsibility for the implications of this bag. She's refusing that it's a replica, and I am waiting to hear back from her, and of course I'm being diplomatic, and I took loads of detailed photos which I will show you throughout this video, and it's just insane. But look at them. A normal person on the street, or if you just glance at them, even if you do buy Longchamp, will not be able to tell the difference, because this is a really good replica. I've been replicating bags for a long time, and the reason why I was able to spot them was because I have an eagle eye from naturally, because of what I do. I look at all the tiny, minute little details that people wouldn't even bother looking at, but I have to, because that's how I would authenticate bags. Thank God I had an authentic, an original, gorgeous darling right here. This is my large travel tote, my shorthand travel tote, and I wanted a matching tote, like a shoulder tote, so I could just carry these when I travel. Wheeled bags totally do my head in, and if I had these in Louis Vuitton, they would be far too heavy. I have been a Louis Vuitton purist for a very long time, but I'm venturing out, and this is the third time. Is it the third time? This is the fourth time. This is the fourth time I'm giving Longchamp a chance, and I'm really happy with this bag. This bag's a keeper for me. The quality, everything is so impeccable about this bag, and I want to get into the nitty-gritty details about this bag now. Okay, so first off, the thing I noticed first was that the colouring was a little off. Some people, it depends on how good you are with colour, but the original is more of a the original is more of a Tiffany blue. It's like an aqua kind of blue. And the replica looks more of a seafoam green. And I'll show you here. I'm going to do a video up close right after this too, but we can just start by just looking overall at the details. From afar, you wouldn't be able to just like completely recognize which one was authentic and which one was a replica. especially if you're just on the street and you're not able to just compare them right away. But I will say this is a really high-end replica, but I want to show you the details anyway, so let's get to it. Okay, so you can see the two bags here, and I'm going to do my best to show you the differences. The number one detail that absolutely gives a fake bag away, the G on the Longchamp, the replica is to the right and the authentic is to the left. The G on an authentic Longchamp has always looked like, kind of like a C. It's missing that horizontal dash on the part that goes like towards the center. Whereas on the replica, I still have yet to see a replica where they get it right. That's a traditional looking G, like a Times New Roman G, with the horizontal little dash, that fleck. Also, on the authentic, the stitching color of the thread is slightly lighter, whereas on the replica, it's the same color, like the exact same color. You will also see that the flap is slightly different in shape. On the replica, the flap is a bit more square. I want to show you the detail. It's slightly more square, you see? It's just slightly a bit more tapered, a little bit more tapered on the authentic. Also, the leather quality is different. On the replica, it feels a little pleathery. It kind of feels like faux suede. It probably is real, but I guess it's a lower quality. This, you could just tell is a high quality kind of suede on the one side. Also, if you compare the buttons on the inside, the replica's button is really shiny, whereas the authentic isn't so shiny. But it's a good replica because it says what it's supposed to say. Original PRYM. Now you can see the color differences. The authentic has a gorgeous Tiffany blue shade. It's such a beautiful color. Replica, I don't know if it's going to show up. It's got this like sea foamy green color. It's a bit weird because it doesn't really match the button so well. Do you see that? They look very different in shade. It's starting to look very blue now. On the authentic, even though the edge coating is slightly greener, they are closer in color. They are much closer. If we can compare the embroidery is actually pretty good. They did a really good job. I didn't realize it was a replica until I looked closer at it, and then I realized, like, it's very well done. The replica's on my right and the authentic is on my left. You know how I can tell though? When you touch it, the replica feels like a softer kind of thread. It feels soft. And the authentic feels more rigid, hard wearing. It feels more of a more durable material. This one feels like it's made from like a cotton spool thread, like from your sewing kits, like that kind of thread, where this one feels more of an industrial strength of thread. The nylon itself is really good. Like, they're almost identical. The replica feels slightly smoother, where the authentic feels slightly more textured, a little rougher. And here's one of the most obvious parts with the differences that gave it away. This is the first thing I noticed. Look at the chaps. The replica chap is much larger. It's longer. And the shape is a little different. It's not as round. It tapers more. And look at how clean the edging is. Look how clean the edge seal is on the authentic. And on the replica, it's not so clean. You can see, especially in certain parts, it's not done very clean. There's bleeding. You see that? That's not clean. You see the difference? Authentic Longchamps, you will never see the edge coating, the color coming on to the surface, the top like that. It stays on the edge. And that's the second thing I noticed, is that the edge coat was not as cleanly done. You can see just the shape of it. It's just longer. It shouldn't be that long. And yes, on Longchamps, the chaps all remain the same size, irregardless of the size of bag. And I'm going to show you a difference too in the pattern of the leather. Okay. On Authentic Longchamps, it's a very distinctive diamond pattern, and it's quite deep. You can see it. Diamond pattern everywhere. They've tried to copy it, but even by its touch, you can feel this is so much more textured and deeply embossed than this. This feels a lot smoother. This doesn't even come close to the rigidity and the texture of this one. This is so much smoother, and they tried to replicate a diamond shape, and you can sort of see somewhat, but it's less distinct. It's more of a cross, like crisscross, like waffle kind of pattern. Instead of like really distinct diamond shape, especially if you go up close, you can see. You see the difference? This looks more splotchy, not as defined as, but far away to the naked eye, who's going to notice, right? So if you look at the tabs on the end, mine's larger because mine's a travel bag, but I want you to see the stitching details and the zipper pull details. It's not bad. I've seen much worse zipper pulls on a fake Longchamp before. I've seen plenty of fake Longchamps on the tube in London, and they've had a lot worse bags. It's not that bad. Look at the stitching. Fake one, it's a bit of a mess. I mean, it's stitched well, like it's tight, it's not going to fall apart. You can tell the stitching's strong, but it's not clean. And then on the real one, it's quite clean. Here, the diamond pattern doesn't look bad, but again, you can feel the difference. You can kind of notice the difference. I don't know. It doesn't look as blended. Okay, another thing I noticed, look at that, there's white coming through from the inside. There was nothing of that on my Authentic bag. No white bits coming through like that. Everything is so impeccable on this bag. Okay, so when I opened the bags, this is another thing I noticed. On the replica, this interior is the same interior on the classic pliage. Okay, the classics have this plasticky feel that I was never a fan of. The Neo has more of a rubbery feel, and I'm gonna get to the club, but it's not like this. This feels and looks just like a classic Longchamp pliage. It's very plasticky and it's smooth. There's absolutely no texture to this. An Authentic for the Pliage Club, there is a more textured raincoat kind of feeling. You can see it. It's like a raincoat vinyl, you know, there's texture to it. It kind of it looks like the texture on the outside, that kind of texture, you can see it. It's not smooth. And it feels more substantial. I like the feel of this bag. You can just tell the clubs were upgraded in quality. They are much higher quality than the classic pliages. But I have never seen a club that hasn't been extremely like well handcrafted and detailed. Okay, this is another thing that I'm going to point out to you. On the bottom of the handles, without fail, every Longchamp Club, you can see every Longchamp Le Pliage, very cleanly done. There's 3 stitches with double stitching, and it's on every single side and every single handle in this part. What's going on there? This looks like a mess. You see. And do you see the gradation of this pattern as opposed to this one? The pattern on the Authentic, the color is just, it looks just more natural looking. Whereas on the replica, it's just kind of like one print. It kind of stays the same throughout. Do you know what I mean? It's more two-dimensional, like the color. And the Authentic has a slightly wider handle strap. The handles are slightly wider and more flexible. The replica is quite stiff and a bit thinner. And if you feel them, this just feels a lot more rigid, not as comfortable as these. These feel really, really comfortable. Far away, like I said, someone's just on the street, like just looking at it, you're not going to tell. Because who is going to have a bag side by side and compare exactly? But like when they're apart, your eye isn't going to tell the difference. Like, oh, that is less Tiffany blue than it should be. Obviously side by side you can tell. But I do not condone replicas or fakes. I just don't support the market. I think the best thing that they've done really well is the color and the texture of the outside, the nylon. It's just really good the way they've done it, because I mean, if you just look at the two, right, you can't really tell the difference if you're looking at the fabric on its own. It's funny though, in pictures the color shows up kind of differently. This one shows up warmer and this one shows up a little cooler. So I am in the midst of getting a refund for this bag. The seller's giving me quite a hard time and she's denying that it's a fake bag when you guys can see the differences. They've done the inside pocket pretty good, pretty well done. Another thing I want to show you, on these bags, on the Authentic, you're never going to have this stitch going above this line. It pretty much meets at this line, you see? Boop. On the replica, it's surpassing that line. That one's okay. But you see, this is inconsistency of not having a real bag. There are standards and quality checks when it comes to authentic bags, and this is what you pay for. Let's see if I've missed anything else. And the zippers saying YKK, not always an indicator. This replica has all the same zippers. It says YKK. It's got even the numbers on this part, which is quite terrifying because they've tried to get even the small details. It's funny because, like, even though they've gotten these tiny details, do you see? They both say YKK on the side. Even though they have these small details, the obvious parts, like the chaps, are not accurate. But the very obvious detail was missing. They got the details of these zippers down. All the little bits and the markings. But then when it came to the obvious details, like something on the outside, like no one's going to notice your zipper details. But on the outside, this is a very obvious difference to me. I knew, like, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, those chaps do not look right. They just don't look right. On the zipper pull themselves, this is a larger zipper because it's a bigger bag. It's not bad. Right, it's not bad. It's not like a very messy zipper, and this is why it's kind of scary. But what do you guys see that's not right? And it's something I've been saying through the whole video. Can you see it? Look at that G. It's the incorrect classic G with the vertical fleck. You see? Whereas real Longchamp never has that little vertical line on the G going across. It just goes straight up. That horizontal line. It just goes straight up. So the wrong style of G is on the replica all throughout. On the embossing, on the zipper pull, and on the button. Yes, the embossing. Let me show you. The font on the embossing on the leather is not tall enough, and it's too widely spaced apart. If you look at the Authentic, the letters are a little taller, they're a little thicker, and they're more closely put together. You'll see that is something universal with Longchamp Le Pliage bags. This says Le Pliage type L, modèle déposé. And the accents aigus are supposed to be going upwards to the right. You see? On the déposé, and then on modèle, they go to the left. Let's see what this one says. Longchamp Le Pliage shopping, modèle déposé. The accents are not as defined. You can barely see them. But I don't know, hopefully you can see the difference between the font. They look like different fonts. Close, but not the same, and that's the point. This is smaller. The replica has a smaller font, and the letters are spaced farther apart. They look kind of squished down. They're like fatter, they're wider. And on the Authentic, they are taller and placed closer together. Okay, so that is the difference. So I really hoped that I've helped some of you gain clarity today on learning how to spot the small differences between an Authentic and a replica. I will be updating you on what's going on with this seller, but it's very unfortunate that this had to happen, because either the seller is dishonest, or she's unknown and she's just standing her ground unknowingly, but I highly doubt it. She's listing it as 100% authentic, and then even after I had pointed out the differences of why her bag is not, she still refused and said, well, take it to a Longchamp and let them tell me it's fake then. And I set her straight, because Longchamp, just like Louis Vuitton, just like Chanel and all other high-end luxury designer brand names, do not authenticate at their shops. It's a liability issue, it's a legal issue. They do not do that. That's why they have people like me. That's why people hire authenticators like me before they go out and buy a bag on the grey market. But with eBay, you have to go through all the checks and balances. I had to keep asking her, can I please have a refund? And I was very nice and diplomatic, and I said, I said, as a seller, I said, I'm also an eBay seller. As a seller, like, where's your integrity? If you were not happy with the purchase for whatever reason it may be, you should honor that refund. I always give refunds. It's not a big deal. And the thing is, if it's an authentic bag, you shouldn't have a problem getting it back. If I've issued refunds with Louis Vuittons before. 1,500 Louis Vuitton bags, person will change their mind. Of course, it's a real bag, I'll have no problem selling it. Give it back here and I'll give you back your money. But when people are so reluctant to be so afraid of having to issue a refund, that they know something's up. They don't want to get a fake bag back. There's a reason maybe why her bag wasn't selling. Her pictures were quite terrible though. You can't always tell, like the details that I've shown you cannot see in regular pictures. And I just trusted her, because she does have authentic bags on her listings. She has a Tod's bag on her listing, and I know Tod's as well. And and she had a Chanel bag, and I know Chanel as well. So I don't know where she got this bag, but it's quite disheartening, because she does sell authentic bags, so she has good feedback, and that's exactly why I didn't grill her or question her or demand more pictures, because of her feedback. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the risk you take when you do buy on e-marketplaces like this. It just happens. But as long as you know your details and you know your stuff, and the most you can do is ask for a refund. If they don't give it to you, eBay has to give you a refund unless there's something seriously wrong on your end. But the fact that I can provide photos, the fact that I've been trying to communicate with her as much as possible, they will look at that. They will look through the transactions. They will read messages that you've sent to each other, and hopefully eBay will take my side and force her the refund, because there's no reason why she shouldn't be issuing it to me, because it is a bloody fake bag. Anyway, any other questions, please do let me know. You know what to do. Leave a comment below. If you haven't already, hit the notification bell to get more notifications when I upload. Some of my viewers were like, oh my god, I didn't know you uploaded for the last 3 months and now I have to catch up. So yeah, hit that notification bell and keep watching. I'm going to be uploading more videos in the future. Once I get rid of this replica, I will buy an authentic. I saw an authentic on eBay. I checked all the details. I purchased this mainly because she had good ratings, so it's about the principle of the matter, isn't it? It's about the principle. And now I'm stuck with this like high-end replica and I can't sell it because it's a replica, and yeah. Anyway, I'll keep you updated and I hope you guys are coping with your isolation. I will be back later. Bye-bye.